You know, having dealt with many unhealthy relationships as a psychologist, and lots of them became healthy, so there's a lot of hope for everybody. There are some things that you see pop up a lot that are kind of universal. One of them is a kind of a constant detachment or disengagement. That is, they have a hard time getting emotionally connected from the heart and staying connected. Like one person will tend to withdraw a lot and pull away, or when they don't get along, both pull away, and there's kind of this, back and forth kind of thing where you really can't trust that the person is going to be there and be available to you from the heart. So look for detachment and disengagement as a pattern. Another thing is just the good old-fashioned deception and dishonesty. The unhealthy relationships often have somebody who's not being truthful and honest about negative things, and so there's either lying or betrayal or dishonesty. And these are a big deal. These are not something you can just say that's kind of part of the relationship, everybody's that way. You got to have a really strict stance toward dishonesty and deception and betrayal. You have to say, this is not okay, it'll never be okay with me. And so when you see that, go ahead and assume there's unhealth, and that you don't want to have that unhealthy bacteria be multiplying in that relationship, because that's what happens in betrayal and dishonesty. It tends to multiply when it's not confronted and dealt with. Another one is when there tends to be a shift in responsibility where one person is doing all the emotional work and the other person is doing very little of it. So one person's always reaching out and always kind of making excuses for the other person, and like being afraid of the other person's temper tantrums, or they're kind of like doing the mommy or the daddy work to the immature one who is more dependent. And the problem there is that it creates incredible isolation on both people's parts, and the dependent one never grows up, and the parent person ends up feeling all by themselves and sometimes a little bit resentful. So when you see the parent-child dynamic where one's more of the giver and the other's more of the taker, that needs to be confronted and dealt with. The good news is I've seen really unhealthy relationships with all these attributes, but with two good-hearted people who really valued staying in that relationship, really good things can happen with the right interventions, the right habits, the right changes, and they've moved on and had great lives together.